Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we're going to talk a little about the Web of Fear Special Edition. It did finally come in, thank goodness, and I'm glad to have it on the shelf. So this will not be a review of the whole story. This will be just reviewing Episode 3, the animated Episode 3, in color, the color version, because I bought the DVD of Web of Fear, which is actually over there at a camera shot, last year and watched Web of Fear for the first time, and so I'm just not... I watched it so recently, I'm just really not in the mood to go all the way through the story again. But I did want to go ahead and watch the episode 3 just kind of in isolation to see what I thought of the animation. And since I was watching it just in isolation and it didn't have to match the surrounding footage, excuse me, I did watch it in color because I know when I actually decide to watch the whole story, I'll be watching it in black and white. That way it'll match the footage. Because that'd be weird going from black and white, 4:3, 4:3 to color 16:9 back to black and white 4:3. That'd just be weird and wouldn't make any sense. So I figured this is a great opportunity to go ahead and watch the color version in 16:9. Plus I wanted to watch the behind the scenes stuff, which I have. I watched pretty much most of the behind the scenes stuff, the making of the animation discussion, the missing years, and a couple other things on there. Really enjoyed the behind the scenes stuff. The animation itself is rough to start out with, but I adjusted to it. It's really weird. When I first started watching the episode, very early in, I started feeling really queasy, like really weird, almost a bit nauseous. I even checked the time I was in. When I looked, it was like 3 minutes and 50 seconds in. And I'd been feeling that way for a few seconds already, so it was probably around the 3-minute mark I started feeling queasy, like it was like just watching it was causing me nausea. But I stuck with it, and I did adjust to it. And of course, I noticed, like a lot of other people saying, or have said about the faces not looking right and the body movements where they're moving unnecessarily and moving around. And that is a little off-putting. It is definitely something you notice. I can see why it bothers people. But I honestly adjusted to it as I progressed through the episode. I got used to it where it wasn't as bothersome. It wasn't as noticeable. I mean, I was still taking note of it, but it wasn't like irritably noticeable. I was adjusting to the animation style, so to speak. And It didn't really bother me once I got used to it. Again, the faces was a little different story. Some of the faces look all right, some of them don't. Like Troughton's is okay. I'm fine with it. It's passable. Victoria's I think is good. The captain's is good. Jamie's is good. I think the driver that's with Jamie is good. And then some of the faces are weird. Like Ann Travers, her face looks weird. Like the model of it in the animation just looks weird. Like, I mean, if you met someone that looked like that, you'd be like, it looks odd. The Brigadier's face doesn't really look like the Brigadier other than the mustache. Like, if I just saw that shot and didn't know it was the Brigadier, I wouldn't know it was the Brigadier. And then, of course, Professor Travers looks weird. The model of him looks thinner than it should. He's supposed to be a heavy-set man in this story, and he doesn't look that heavy-set in the animation. And his hair and beard aren't done right. They're supposed to look to me a little more wild in the live action is how it looks to me, and it looks a little more done in the animation. Professor Travers doesn't really look like Professor Travers. I can tell it is Professor Travers, but it doesn't look right to me. The backgrounds look really good. I will say that now. I really like the backgrounds. Like when Jamie and the driver are walking through the tunnel, that looks really good. When they're in the base, that looks really good. The map, I like it when it shows the map of the subway system, looks good. The scene when they're doing the presentation, that's pretty neat, especially when the lights go from on to off. The backgrounds look really good. And I like, this is another one of those stories where I think it's a different viewing experience, depending on whether you're watching it in color or black and white, because I've seen shots of it in black and white before on YouTube and stuff. And I do think, much like Macroterra, they'll be viewing, that'll be a different viewing experience. Like in color, I like the shots like when Danny and the driver are walking through the tunnels and they got those little lights lining the way. And, in black and white, it'd just be, white lighting. But in color, it's this kind of eerie yellow color. It's like this kind of dull yellow. To where it's like, yeah, come down here. No one will ever find you. It's that kind of thing. Like if I was walking around somewhere in tunnels and I saw that with that eerie yellow lighting, I'd be a little apprehensive. Like, I don't know if I want to go that way. Tell you what, we'll send Frank down that way. If Frank comes back, we'll go that way. If Frank suddenly starts screaming and it cuts off suddenly, or else it just kind of gurgles down into nothing, we'll go a different way. Frank, go to it. Yeah, all right. Frank's up for anything. What the heck? But yeah, I thought the backgrounds were really well done. I think it would be hard for me to watch a whole story done this way without some improvements done to the animation, which, you know, again, this is kind of a test run. This is kind of a trial just to try it. You know, they spent a lot of the time for this developing the technology. Now that they have the technology, hopefully they can, with future stories, they can just improve on it. If this is the worst the technology will be, if this is the technology at its worst, it's fine. Because that means it should only improve from here. You know, you would think it should improve from here. I would like to see more done like this, as long as they take the time to refine it, do it better, work out some of the body movements, do better with the faces, because the backgrounds already look good. Once again, as I mentioned before in a video, I really think this would be a great opportunity to do the Underwater Menace Special Edition, where much like in Web of Fear, you don't animate the whole thing. You just animate the 2 missing episodes for Underwater Menace. You do it in this style, refining the technique, improving the technique, again as another test run, since Underwater Menace is a story that's not super popular, let us say. You know, it doesn't have a very good reputation, so it's not one people are going to be too overly angry at if you're using it as a test run, I think. People will be a little more understanding. That way, when you get to stuff like Master Plan or Crusade, you've had some practice at it, so hopefully those stories will be better, because those stories need to look immaculate. So I'm fine with it as a test run. For 1 episode out of 6, it's fine. It's much better than the recons. I don't really like recons. They're a little hard to follow, and I like being able to actually see what's going on screen. So overall, the animation is not great. I do prefer a lot of the 2D styles. I will say I liked this animation better than Fury from the Deeps. Fury from the Deep is still a country mile lower than anything else I've seen in the animations so far. I didn't like Fury from the Deeps. I think this is an I think Web of Fears is an improvement over it. But I do think all of the other 2D animations have done it better. I'm really looking forward to Evil, because I've seen the trailers for Evil. It looks really good. I'm really looking forward to it coming in. But I am fine with more 3D stuff being done, as long as they refine the technique and improve upon it. So, what did you think of Web of Fear? And if you've seen it in color and black and white, which one do you prefer? Let me know your thoughts on it down below, and what you think of my Underwater Menace idea. Other things to do: click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to contribute to what I do, and for the entire month of October, anyone who joins my Patreon at any tier level will have access to stuff that's usually just reserved for higher tier levels. This includes poll voting, I almost said pole vaulting, voting in polls, access to behind the scenes videos, blooper videos, stuff like that. Pretty much anything I post you'll be able to see. And my entry level tier is only $2 a month. If you would like to get in on that, I also intend soon to be doing another video where I will be ranking the doctors, because I haven't done one of those since right around when I started the channel a couple of years ago, and my ranking has changed. That will be a Patreon only video, but that will again be open to any tier level, including the $2 tier level. If you want to see that, just go ahead and check it out. There's a link to it down in the description below, just to see if there's anything there that interests you. Anyone who joins at any tier level gets a free video request. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.